Dear all attendees, we hope you enjoy this very rich, very friendly conference, and I have the great honor of opening closing stuff. It's quite strange for me, opening the closing ceremony. And I will first give the floor to Olivier, who will give you a synthesis of all your very fruitful activities. Olivier, please.
Yes, hello everybody. My pleasure to speak here. Sorry for the voice. If somebody finds mine, please bring it back. So it's just a few slides to comment on the conference. Is it okay? It's gonna happen. Okay. Yes, just a few numbers and few. Okay. So I think we had very fruitful conference with more than 380 participants from 48 countries or so, with 15 symposia, very rich, 22 regular sessions, and obviously a lot of abstract, more than 360, including 6 plenary talks, and you see the diversity of thematics and topics that were dealt with this week. I think it was really, really, really rich. So thank you for coming. And just a few slides. As you can see, there were very young attendance as well. So obviously, future island biologist, I can imagine. Well, that was it. We had also nice weather for the field trip and a nice dinner yesterday, I think. So thank you for your hard work for coming here, and hopefully we see you in the next round of island biology. That's all.
So I now invite Sidze and Marion, who will give you a feedback on media outreach activities and new technologies and CO2 attenuation.
Yes.
Sidze and Marion, you have the floor.
Yeah. Okay, great to see still everybody here at Friday afternoon. Yesterday we had a heavy night, and everybody's here looking still more or less fresh. So today, as a title for our talk, we thought, okay, microcosmic futures, islands as models for sustainability transitions in the Anthropocene. And we were inspired for this title because in 1997 there was this paper published by Patrick Kirch. It was Microcosmic Histories, Island Perspectives on Global Change. So we reworked it a little bit. What is our island perspective as a society towards the future? I'm giving this talk together with Marion Coedel, who will start a PhD on coral reef cryptofauna soon. Myself, I'm doing my PhD on island biogeography in the Quaternary and Anthropocene. And if we think about the Earth's history, geologists divide the history of the Earth in eons and eras, periods and epochs. And for 4.6 billion years, everything seemed to work pretty well. But now we're in the middle of something completely different. And I think we as island researchers and as a society for island biology, we have to realize that we are co-shaping this time, the Anthropocene. So, and islands are facing the effect of these global changes. Some island societies are buying land to anticipate future changes, future sea level rise. And of course, it's not only sea level rise, but also an increased frequency of extreme weather events. And many of us are working on these topics. Over the last few days, I've heard several talks about the impact of past climatic change, present and future climate change on biodiversity on islands. So we know as a society, as a as a collective body, we know that the situation we're facing is critical. But what can we do? So me personally, I felt pretty bad when I came here. I mean, I was really looking forward to the conference, but also like I knew that I was emitting a huge amount of CO2. So here, for one flight, it's about 700 to 2,800 kilogram of CO2 equivalent, depending on the point of origin, of course. But there are other things you can do. So a plant-based diet is huge. It's in the same order of magnitude. Reducing food waste, eating less meat, recycling. So what did we as a society already achieve? And I think we can already be proud of that. And I think we really put a positive vibe already starting. So in the first island biology meeting in Hawaii, I wasn't there. I was still a scientific baby back then. But there were already recyclable beer glasses, vegetarian lunches. And I was talking with Don, and he said, I was really overwhelmed with a huge number of participants. So in the first year already 400 participants. Then in the Azores, these sustainability initiatives increased. So there was optional CO2 sequestration, again vegetarian lunches, and again for 400 people, recyclable beer glass as well. It's a lot of beer, but it's also a lot of plastic saved. So, but 400 participants is really seems to be a stable number, and I think we can increase these positive contributions.
So, Island Biology 2019, it's some of 400 scientists for 45 countries are meeting on the Réunion Island, and most of you take a plane to come here. So I have calculated the environmental impact. So for 347 participants, it's 450 planes was taken, and it results in 351 tons of carbon emission. So the mean CO2 emission for transcontinental flights per participant is 1,057 tons of CO2, which equivals to round trip Paris-Réunion. And how can we compensate this emission? So if we want to compensate all the emission before the next Island Biology Conference, we need to plant around 23 hectares of forest. And today, Island Biology have two partnerships with projects aiming at planting trees to order to restore 23 hectares of endemic vegetation, which cover all the emission due to the flight. So the first action is the Endemial project conducted by the Le Tampon municipality, and the aim is create an honey corridor by planting 50,000 indigenous plants and restoring 4 endemic gardens. And at the end of the project, its 14 hectares will have been restored. And the second project is the Filica Arborea project conducted by the TAF on Amsterdam Island. This project has for aims to restore the original vegetation of the island, and currently it's already more than 5,000 specimens of Filica arborea was planted, which equivalent to almost 9 hectares. We have also taken over action to reduce conference impact, including limited use of paper, saving water with water fountain instead of water bottles, and limited use of plastic with the reusable beer glass for poster session, and all the t-shirts are made with fair trade cotton and print with natural ink. And finally, we have installed a free live streaming in one of the 5 parallel sessions.
Yeah, and you might have seen, and you might have talked with your colleagues, it's a great success, this video conferencing. On YouTube you can see 200 people, some sessions have been watched by 200 people. So how do we want to bring this to the next session in 2022? You can think of, well, the plenary talks, of course we should keep that. But what about parallel sessions where you can participate online, perhaps at a reduced registration fee? And the technology is there. I experimented with the island course. You can use a wide range of software tools to put this in practice. And we've seen here it works. And of course, the benefit is not only for the climate or for the environment, but also it increases the accessibility of these conferences and enables us to share, have discussions and share our insights with a wider public. So something on the power of scientists and island communities. Perhaps some of you signed the World Scientist Warning to Humanity, or you might have heard of the no-flight climate sigh. So again, what do we as island scientists want to contribute to these existing initiatives? And then something about island communities. 10% of the global population live on island, and about 1/4 of the national states. So potentially this is a great voting bloc in the United Nations. So I think if we as island scientists, in collaboration with island politicians, we can really have a great contributions toward sustainability transition in the Anthropocene. And then, as a last slide, I often show this picture if I give a talk to students. I show Darwin, Wallace, and I say, islands are ideal model systems for studying ecology and evolution. But of course, a model has also another meaning. A model can be something as an example to follow or imitate. And I think it's up to us as a Society for Island Biology and as island researchers to take up that role and show that we as an island community can achieve that. Because if you're here in a remote island and you can build such a global community, I think that can have a really positive contribution. So thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Sid and Marion, for your enthusiasm. I would like to call on stage the winners of a poster competition for the week. So for Monday, I would like to call Uré Mathilde. ABS Pia. Come on stage, come on stage. I'm calling everyone and we will give the prizes and the certificates. So Uré Mathilde, ABS Pia, sorry for my pronunciation. Marion Daisy. Custer Anna. Pauline Fenouilla. Valco Orsolia. Valco Orsolia. Quant Christina. Tan Melissa. Again, Abis Pia. Vanessa Kutz. Alba Costa. Antoine Gaël. Webster Kathleen. César Maram. Andrea Miaj Katuch. Take Alizé. Et Annabelle Constance. Where are the boys? So, on Monday we had 3 best second poster for ABS Pia, Edaphic Habitats Islands in Quartz Fields of South Africa, a model system for island biogeography. Congratulations. On On conservation, Saving the Swamper with Marion Daisy. Second best poster of the day. 3 ex aequo second posters. And in marine ecology, so this is PI. Marion Daisy, second best poster of Monday. Who is Marion Daisy? Just, yeah, step, yeah, what we can. Ex aequo, second best poster, Custer Anna for patterns and drivers of coral reef resilience of Aldabra Atoll. Step? No one. And the best poster of the day for Monday, with a prize, goes to Ure Mathilde for predictive habitat models. For Tuesday, the third best poster of the day was Quant's Christina with biosecurity challenges and progress at the UNESCO site of Aldabra Atoll in Seychelles. Congratulations. The second best poster was Valco Orsolia. And the best poster of Tuesday is for Pauline Fenouillat from our lab. Quantify invasion levels by alien plant species in La Réunion. It was the heaviest one, so we thought it may stay in Réunion. For the first day, we have 3 best second poster, ex aequo. IB2022 for an analysis of global trade space of birds on islands. IB2022. Yeah. Don't fall. Wow. Kutz Vanessa, second best poster for assessing the use of scientific floras as data sources for trade-based research in the Canary Islands. Third, second best poster of the day of Thursday, Costa Alba for effects of habitat restoration on the seed dispersal ecosystem function in Seychelles. And we're calling the best poster of Thursday, Melissa Tan. I don't think she's there. Okay, so she's here? No, I don't think so. No, she's not there. So, Tan Melissa. No, she's not there. So for Friday, we have 4 ex aequo, third best poster. Cesar Maham for correlates of a distribution of microendemic species in New Caledonia. Katuccia Andrea Mioj for diversity of Aphilus vanilla species in the Southwest Indian Ocean region. And Alize Take for evolution of pesticide resistance in invasive versus indigenous agricultural pest species in an insular tropical environment. And the last third best poster is Constance Annabelle for mangrove ecology on an undisturbed atoll. Is Annabelle here? Yes. The second best poster of Friday, of today, is for Webster Catlin with morphologically distinct. I don't know if I pronounce it well. Congratulations. And the best poster of the day is for Antoine Gaël. Heritability and evolvability of morphological traits of a honeybee. Thank you very much. And I will call now, and I will call José María Fernández Palacios.
Okay, here we are. We have now some time to discuss a little bit about society questions. To begin with, I have to recognize that the society is non-existing, okay? So, we are very much hippies. We have been able to organize 3 big meetings with 400 people each in very different places of the world, and even without a society. So I think that it's now time to create a society. Especially to ensure to have next meetings so successful in different places and to give support to the local organizers, such these guys that have been really alone, fighting against a lot of obstacles alone without the support of the society, and this cannot happen more. So this is why we are going to today to make the very first steps towards a society. But this will come later. For now, we are going to discuss, as we used to do always, to discuss which is our next location for Society of Island Biology 2022 symposium. Okay? And we have two candidates. We have the candidature of Palma de Mallorca, Baleares, Mediterranean Sea, that is going to be defended by Elba Montes, and we have the candidature of Wellington, New Zealand, that is going to be defended by Casey Barnes. Elba, will you begin?
Good afternoon. So I'm here to present a proposal for the next Island Biology Conference in 2022. That would be in Mallorca, in the Balearic Islands. So the organizers for now are Miguel Ángel Miranda. He's I can see that here. He's an associate professor of zoology at the University of the Balearic Islands, and myself, I'm a PhD student and environmental project manager on the island of Ibiza. So Mallorca is on the Balearic Islands. They are on the Western Mediterranean basin, and it's an archipelago composed by 4 main islands, Mallorca, Menorca, Ibiza, and Formentera, and they also hold the largest sea-land national park of Spain and of the Western Mediterranean, which is the archipelago of Cabrera. In the Balearic Islands, we have 3 UNESCO World Heritage, the Serra de Tramuntana, also Posidonia oceanica, which is a sea plant, and the historical complex of downtown of Ibiza. Also, Menorca is a biosphere reserve, and as I said before, we have the National Park of Cabrera. We have endemic species in almost in the most animal groups, also lots of endemisms in plants, And the threats, as you all know, it's human pressure, invasive species, climate change. Mallorca and the Balearic Islands have a typical Mediterranean climate. We have mild winters and very hot summers. Mallorca has a really long history, and Palma of Mallorca is the capital of Mallorca, and it has a really wide touristic and cultural offer. It's a cosmopolitan city. It's a great city. It also offers a wide gastronomic offer with fresh and high-quality products, and it's as is typical in the Mediterranean cuisine. Really good food. Regarding the accommodation, we have a good relationship, quality-price relationship, so we can find hotels from 60 euros to whatever you want, but more or less in the range of 60 to 180 euros. And so the Palma International Airport connects the most important capital cities of Europe, and it's the third airport in Spain in number of flights, so it has a good number of flights. And regarding the transportation, the public transportation, the international airport is connected to the city center by bus, and also the city center, from the city center, it's easy to get to the campus where the conference would be held by bus and by metro. Okay, so the group I am presenting this candidature with is experienced in congresses. They have organized 1 national and 3 international conferences, up to 400 participants. And we have a big help from the UIB Congress, which is a service provided by the University of the Balearic Islands, which is UIB. They have organized many international congresses, and they would be taking care of the scientific secretariat, the registrations, material, social media, etc. Okay, so the campus is located at 7.5 kilometers from the city of Palma in a rural environment. It is a modern campus with a lot of facilities. And the university began in 1983. It holds currently 13,000 students, so we would say it's a small to medium university. And the venue would be the Hotel School of the Balearic Islands, which is number 17. You can see it up there. So the metro station is here. Walking is about 10 to 15 minutes. But you also have the bus stop here, which is like 2 minutes away from the venue. Sorry, I'm looking, but I don't want to miss anything. So for the organization of the conference, we have the Aula Magna, which has a capacity for 400 people sitting. I guess we all want to sit down. We also have the auditory, which has, well, different rooms with 144 people capacity, and the classroom of grades with 50 people capacity. And we also have another rooms that could be available if we needed them. Yes, and so as Sitze said before, we are all concerned about the environment and the carbon footprint, so we would be worrying about that, and our intention would be providing with digital documents the plastic reduction in everything that's possible. I think it can be possible, like completely possible, without plastic whatsoever. Also, we would be doing carbon footprint compensation with local actions like reforestation with native or endemic plants. Also, we could do this live streaming, and the downloading of videos would be also available. Also, I would like to, I didn't say anything about the field trips, but we have plenty of places that we could go, such as Menorca, Ibiza, Formentera. And also, I would like to say that in the Balearic Islands, we have, at least Miguel Angel and me, we have the feeling that people are trying to change things a little bit. Like, for example, they are protesting against the massive tourism. And also the number of protected areas has increased. And I think that the celebration of this conference would be a good synergy for, you know, like highlighting this process that is going on at the society in general. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, we have some time for, maybe you have questions regarding the candidature of Palma de Mallorca. Okay? Yeah, Richard, please.
Looks great. One thing, so I've got quite a lot of experience with the International Biography Society and thinking about these sorts of conferences. Is there any sort of venue, is that going to cost? So I'm thinking about sort of the registration cost. Is the venue provided by the university, or does the conference fee have to include that?
I think it's free. It's included, yeah.
There was another question here, yeah?
Oh.
Yes. What time of year the meeting would be on Mallorca? You said that summer.
Ask Kevin. Well, we proposed July, which is very hot, but I don't know, maybe we could study other times of the year, but I think July is a good time because the classes are finished, and then all the rooms are available, and I think it's better.
Yeah, in principle, the idea is to keep our dates. I think that this time we have to choose between a very hot summer and a very cold winter. But that's up to you.
Yeah.
Are there more questions? Okay, Casey, will you be so kind to come here and explain a little bit the candidature?
Thank you. So my name is Casey. I'm going to say just something very brief about New Zealand, but it's... Oh. I guess I'll need that. Is James Russell here? Come on. So it's not just me that's hosting the bid, it's James as well, and Peter Bellingham, who couldn't be here. So James is going to help me up here.
This is going to be like Flight of the Conchords.
All right.
You go.
Wait. So why don't I go with the first one here? I can't quite see.
You're being live streamed right now to the internet.
Right. Okay. So New Zealand was discovered by human beings just 700 years ago. So I think that makes it the youngest country on Earth. That's one really cool thing. Another cool thing is in those 700 years, a culture evolved there that's really appealing and really interesting, and a strong pull for being there. Unique natural history, that's for sure. We've heard a lot about that this week. A strong knowledge economy. And lots of sheep.
Lots of sheep. And they're big.
Yeah.
They're big sheep.
Yeah, not many in Wellington, though. World-class venues and accommodation, that's true. Stunning. I need my glasses. It's a long way away. No. Stunning landscapes, that's for sure, particularly in the South Island. I should say, look, our winters are cold, but they're not that cold, Jose Maria. I mean, the average temperature, I think, is, where'd he go? There he is.
I went to Wellington a few years ago in winter, and I saw the sun.
It's true.
I did.
Yeah, it gets a little windy.
So if you're worried about the heat in Mallorca, then vote New Zealand. It's the middle of winter.
Yep, covered the culture, outstanding activities, and outstanding food and wine. And actually, I'll be serious, the main thing about New Zealand that makes it cool is the distances are really short. So, well, I'm being serious. That you can go skiing and then be at the beach in the afternoon easily in one day. So it's an island. The proximity to really cool things to see and do is quite small. All right, your turn, James.
Well, that's us. So I've been to all 3 island biology conferences, and I really want to go to the 4th one, and I don't think my wife will let me go to Mallorca for a conference. Would your wife let you go?
Probably not.
Probably not. So we're team New Zealand, like the ones with the sail boat that sail really fast. That's pretty much us. And so there's KC, and they made him a professor recently, so he's the boss. I'm not a professor, so I'm just the second in command. Peter Bellingham has done lots of stuff on islands, and he's another old white guy you can see. So we're going to get other not old white guys.
Too many old white guys.
Too many old white guys is bad. We want it to be more like the poster winners. So we're gonna mix it up when we get there. And we've got this lovely lady, Janet Matheson, and she's a professional conference organizer. I think we've had a conference in New Zealand before. Sometimes New Zealand has conferences. So this will be another one for New Zealand, which will be really good. Yes. Back to you.
Right, Victoria University of Wellington, that is sorry about that. That's the proposed venue. It's the school that I work in. It sits right downtown in Wellington, where there's lots of things to see and do. There's a banquet hall, which is in the Parliament building. So you're right at the center of all the decision making in New Zealand, which is kind of cool.
It's called the Beehive, because can you see? It's actually called the Beehive. That's what our Parliament's called. There, you can see it.
Right there.
And there's bees, but they're politicians. And they sting.
Stop it.
I'm not done yet.
Can I talk about Wellington? So there's another slide here. And the cool thing about Wellington, if you look at the slide on the upper left, that's a view of what the town looks like. So unlike Los Angeles, where I was originally from, I've been in New Zealand for about 20 years now, and unlike Auckland, sorry, James, it grew up instead of out. So the town, you can walk from one end to the other in about half an hour, 40 minutes. So all of the sites, all of the restaurants, all of the hotels, the conference venue is within easy walking distance of everything else. So that's a strong pull. Look, you're not going to be swimming like that guy in winter. It's a bit of false advertising. I mean, you could if you had a wetsuit, but I don't think that's going to happen.
There's no sharks, but there was a whale. Last year there was a whale, so you might get eaten by a whale if you swam. There's a big whale. It's like this.
All right, this is good for you.
Okay, this is me. We've got some awesome field trips. They are all really cool places that I've visited. Off the west coast of Wellington, we have Kapiti Island, and it's nearly 2,000 hectares, and it was cleared of invasive rats and possums over 20 years ago, and it's now a wildlife refuge for birds. And you can take this boat. Actually, it's a boat. I think it's a boat with wheels, and it goes down the beach and then just drives into the water and keeps going.
It has wheels. It's true.
It's true. That's what we do in New Zealand. We have wheel boats. And Kapiti Island's really good, and you have to walk up really high, and then it's all windswept. But if you don't like that, you can go to Machu Somes, and that's a quarantine. Used to be a quarantine station. So some of you, if we don't like you, we'll just put you directly there in quarantine until we want to release you to the conference, if we like. But that's a 26-hectare island that has also had rats eradicated. We have this really bad habit in New Zealand of just don't bring any rats to the conference. That'd be at the quarantine station, and then you wouldn't see your pet rat again. That's a 26-hectare island, and that's now got lots of birds as well. But if you don't like islands, which would be strange, it would be strange if you came to an island conference but you didn't like islands. We have mainland islands, which are like islands in the mainland, and we put a fence around them that keeps out everything except everything, including mice, but not birds, because birds they fly. So Zealandia is in the middle of downtown Wellington. It's like a suburb, but they just put a fence around it, and it's really beautiful, and it looks like the island, but it's just got a fence around it, and that's also got all of the rare birds of New Zealand. So if you like to twitch, if you're really into birds, then you can twitch a lot, and there's lots of really good birds at Zealandia. But if even going to a suburb is too far, you can just stay in the centre of town and go to the Museum of New Zealand, which has just got a new, really interactive ecology, nature, history of New Zealand exhibition, which is really, 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 really amazing. And that's in the centre of town, and that will be a conference venue for functions with a view over the harbour to where we saw the whale at that last conference we had in New Zealand, and you can see the whale eating people if they're swimming in winter. It's really good. Over to you.
Right. Lots of things to see and do after or before the conference. To be honest, I don't know what the top left-hand photo is.
That's hobbits.
It's
hobbits.
It's
The
hobbits.
hobbits. So we kept all the hobbits after Lord of the Ring, and we keep them in a hobbit prison. And then you can pay to see them at the hobbit prison, and you can drink beer. You can buy hobbit beer and drink it. I'm not making that up. You buy hobbit beer and you drink it.
Let's move on. Auckland, which is very cool. Lots of skiing at that time of year, both North Island and the South Island. And Margaret, that's Milford Sound in Fiordland. Look, I'll be honest, one downside to New Zealand, and it's not that cold, is it's a long way away. But the good thing about it is the routes from North America are direct. You have to go through Dubai or Singapore or some other place if you're coming from Europe. But it's worth it getting there. And then we have one last thing to show you, and it's a video. And I'll be honest with you, we had a whole bunch of problems getting it to work. I don't know if it's going to work, so I can...
Are we going to act the video and sing it?
Yeah, you didn't know this, but he's going to do an interpretive dance. And it's going to cover all of the main points of the video. If it doesn't work, let's all hope it works. Thanks.
Okay. So I feel that we have really two strong candidatures. Let's see. But you're not going to vote today. Why so? Because we are not a society yet, and we don't have members yet, and we would like that the people assisting to Saint-Denis, but also those that were in Angra, Doruishmo, and are not here, and those that were in Honolulu and are not here have the same opportunities. So we are going to delay the votation until, so you can vote from say next week, until the 15th of August. And you will receive all in your email a link where, when clicking, you will see I vote for Palma de Mallorca, or I vote for Wellington. And then we are going to count all the votes and we make public as soon as possible, which is our destination for 2022. Okay? Do you agree? in the link or in the email, for those people that are not here but would like to vote, we are going to include both presentations, okay? So they can see what has been presented here to take a decision, okay? And now we pass to a next step that has more to do with the society. As I told you already, we have been very hippie these last years without a formal institution existing. And although in Angra a board was chosen, to be sincere, this board hasn't worked properly, very likely because of our mistakes, our own mistakes. There were too many people there, some 30. The people has been really busy these years, and somehow, I don't know why, it was not working. And so we realized a couple of years ago that we have somehow to shift it. To try to solve these problems, the people in the board, in some emails, we decided that for this meeting, we should try to elect a board. And for making it open, we sent an email to all those participants so that they can present a candidature of the board until the end of June. Until the end of June, only one candidature was presented. So we have just one candidature, okay? And this candidature is here today, and I want to introduce all of them to you. For that I need, okay, here it is. So this is the slide, the presentation. So to begin with, the provenance of the members of the board is very wide, as has to be for a Society of Island Biology. There will be people from the Pacific Ocean, Hawaii, New Zealand, French Polynesia will be represented, people from the Atlantic Ocean, Azores, the Canaries, also people from the Indian Ocean, the Mascarenes, people from the Mediterranean Sea, Balearic, also people from the continent working on islands, in this case Europe, people from Germany and the Netherlands. There will be a nice mixture between academics and managers, and also a nice combination of senior and young researchers. And I'm going to present you to introduce to the composition in alphabetical order. To begin with, a person you have already known, you know about her capacity. Claudina Peng is a researcher in botany working at the University of La Réunion. Claudine, will you be so kind to come? Paulo Borges is professor at Azores University, Campus Angra do Heroísmo. He's currently leading the Azorean Biodiversity Group within the University of the Azores. And I have to say from Paulo that he has put Azores in the map. You have already heard him. Kevin Casey Barnes is professor at biology at Victoria University of Wellington, New Zealand. He's a candidate for being our next host, and he's a very good scientist and has very recently published a wonderful book called Speciation in Isolation. Casey, will you please join us? Lea de Nascimento, although with a Portuguese name, came from the Canaries, where she's postdoc researcher with the Marie Curie Fellowship, has been in Manaki, Whenua, in land care research in New Zealand, and is now lecturer at the University of La Laguna, the Canaries. Lea, please. Don Drake, professor of botany at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, is I would say, the spirit of our society. It's the spirit of our movement, and I have to recognize here that this story, this wonderful miracle of having all you here, came from his very nice idea to meet all the people around the world working with islands, because it was really hard for all of us to meet. So Don, please come here. Severin Irl is professor of biogeography and biodiversity at the Institute of Physical Geography at the Goethe Institute, Frankfurt, Germany. Severin has been working in the Canaries for several years and is part of the young scientists we would like to have in the society. Severin, please. Holger Kreft, you have already also, I'm sure, known from him. He's professor of biodiversity and biogeography and microecology at the University of Göttingen in Germany. He's also active on islands all over the world, and I would say that all the symposia of this Congress have used their wonderful gift database. So Holger, please, will you come here? Jean-Yves Hiro-Meyer is the director of the Department of Research of the French Polynesian government, and Jean-Yves is also a must in any island team. He's the representative of one of the more interesting and farther away parts of the world, so French Polynesia has to be in our board. Please, Jean-Yves. You know already Elba. Elba is a PhD student and environmental project manager at Ibiza, a government Balearic Islands. Elba, please, is the representative of the Mediterranean Sea. Come here, please. And you know also this guy, our showman, and the guy that is really working hard to make this future board and society something really nice, really original, and able to reach a lot of people that are not, that have no opportunity to come here. Sitze Norder is a PhD candidate at the Center of Ecology and Evolution and Environmental Change in Lisboa, Portugal, although he's original from the Netherlands. Sitze, please. So, this is the board, as you can see. The sex ratio has nothing to do with the awards of the posters, and this is a very good news. This is not this one, I mean the other one. So it is a fact that it is not balanced. I do know that, and we are going to try to improve it for the next time, okay? But it is also true that among the senior scientists, island biography has been, and I hope this will change in the future, has been mainly a male discipline. And we have to try to work hard to change this. And the last guy, you know him already. He has been practicing these days for being president, although he's not yet president. And this is me. I am ecology professor at La Laguna University in Tenerife, the Canaries. Okay, so this is the composition of the board. Okay, our aim is to rule the board until the next meeting, okay? Just 3 years, okay? For the next meeting, we wish new candidatures. What are we going to do? To have a legalized society of island biology. As I told you already, there is nothing existing. So we're just very hippies, and we would like somehow to formalize our existence, our situation. To have statutes approved where board and president's renovation procedures are regulated. To ensure the regular celebration of conferences and meetings and support the local organizers. To reach a membership of 400 people. I think this is feasible. We have already been 400 in Honolulu, 400 in Angra, 400 here. Why not? To have an active web page. We have one web page, but it's really not active. And periodic newsletters. To progress towards an open Society of Island Biology scientific journal. This is going to be hard. We assume that, but we are going to do our best to have a good open journal. To lobby introducing SIB to IPBS, UNESCO, GLISPA, the Global Islands Partnership, IUCN, etc., for being consulted in decisions affecting island biodiversity and conservation worldwide. We are going to send letters to them, if you decide to elect us, of course. You have the last word. We are going to send letters to say, hi guys, finally the island researchers, we are already organized. And we want you to consult us, whatever you would like to do, relate with biodiversity, conservation, sustainable environment, and so on, affecting islands. Already Sitze said that 25% of the states within UNO are island states, 10% of the population, 25% of the biodiversity. Just contributing with the 5% of the area, 60% of the threatened species, 80% of the extinct species since European expansion. So I think that we have a very big role to proceed, and that the society needs our opinion, okay? This is one of our main goals. To propose a budget considering the possible income sources that enable contracting a secretary for dealing with bureaucratic issues, to provide practical guidelines for making our meetings more sustainable, reducing environmental impact, and accessible, inclusive. Okay, and which is going to be our working procedure? Our aim is to consult openly as much as possible with SIB members in the achievement of these goals. Members of the SIB will have the opportunity to suggest initiatives to the board, and the board will appoint specific SIB members for specific tasks. And now it's time for questions and comments. And before saying that, I would like to say to you again that we are not going to vote here, exactly because of the same reasons I have already mentioned. For the candidatures, we would like the people that are not here, but have already participated with us in Honolulu 2014 and in Angra 2016, have also the opportunity to vote. And we are going to send to all of you and all of them, there is a list of some 800 people. We are going to send an email with this presentation and with the place where they can vote, something like, I support the present candidature, I do not support the present candidature, and blank, okay? And we are going to give, again, 1 month. So for the 15th of August, we are going to know where we are going to travel for 2022, and who is going to rule the society if you decide that this board is going to rule, okay? So, you know already the board, the composition, the provenance, and now it's time for you. So please go ahead, whatever queries, questions, it's time for you. Yeah, Richard, please. I think that yeah, it's a good idea.
So thanks for that, and thanks for being organised enough to get a bid in for this, like none of the rest of us seem to have been able to. I'm just wondering what your strategy is for setting up the society. So, for instance, do you know which country you will incorporate it into? Because it's normally a national. And will you divide the roles up in, it's a sort of secretary, and obviously there's a president, but have you got the different roles planned and all those sorts of things?
Okay, Richard, thanks for the question. Okay. The very first things we should face is where should we go to constitute an international society? And the legislation is very different. So we have already a person that is here, Manuel Steinbauer, is not part of the board, but he will help us as being part. And we are going to make a study to see also what similar societies have done, to see where should we legalize ourselves. I have heard that maybe in the Netherlands is an option, and we have to have a look on it. And depending on the requirements of this state, we very likely we have to take some decisions. For instance, how should the board be organized? I guess there should be a treasurer, a secretary, whatever. No? So this is very likely going to happen. But first, we have to be sure where are we going to legalize. The story is that in a place where there won't be very big problems once there is a transition from board and from president. We cannot be changing every 3 years from country. So we have to decide this very good. Obviously, there will be we are going to divide the tasks to be done. It is hard usually to be a board of a society, and it is really hard, I guess, to create a society. So I think that the guys coming after us will be much nicer way to do that hour. So we assume that we have to work hard, and among them we have to legalize the society. Depending on the country, the legislation has to be different. We have to approve statutes. And when I say we, I mean all the members of the society, not the board. We are going to be absolute transparent and counting with all of you. And our aim, obviously our aim is that all of you came to be members, okay? And for doing that, we have also to discuss what happens with the membership, with the fee, and so on. at least we need a person to work for us, at least one administrative or one person dealing with all the bureaucracy. And this is a salary, and this is money, and we have to find a way to obtain this money, okay? So this is something we do know, and we will try to work hard on it. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you very much for taking the charge and finally incorporating and putting together the society. I have so from the Puerto Rican and the US perspective, we have different societies such as the Wildlife Society, Ecological Society of America, and what they do, I'm not sure maybe you're considering that, but they have a, is it work? Okay. So what they do, they have like a central governing body of the societies, but that each state or islands, in our case, like Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, we have our own chapters, local chapters. And when they organize meetings and they are going to be hosting one of the states, then this governing the board, they communicate with the local chapter, and then together they organize the different conferences. So maybe that would be an option to get even more members and be able to influence local policies in islands throughout the world.
This is our vocation. Our vocation is to keep this big, say, international symposia and to begin to develop a net in regional places to have supporters in those threads and also to organize, say, more regional, local meetings. This is something that we have in our mind.
Hi.
And so, excuse me, by the way, also, we would like to go to the Caribbean. And I have to say now that I have received yesterday an email. I haven't announced because it was a little bit messy. So our candidatures for 2022 are Palma de Mallorca and Wellington, and you have these to decide among them. But I received yesterday, the day before yesterday, we received an email, and there is a guy from Puerto Rico offering to organize 2025. Okay? So at least
that's me.
That's you. So you are Falcon.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So
okay.
just quickly, I'm working now with the government of Puerto Rico in the equivalent to the Ministry of the Environment, and we also work together with the universities there. So we couldn't submit the paperwork for this candidature, but we are very eager to host all of you in 2025 in Puerto Rico. And just because I have the time, you can go to discoverpuertorico.com and you're going to see all the videos, like the Kiwi video, the video from New Zealand, really great. So we hope to see you in 2025.
Hey, forget that for now, okay? Palma or Wellington, nothing more. Okay, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Rosalie Pellens from Paris Museum. I'm wondering how about the representation of the society in IBES or in the CDB and in other major conventions and forums. My question is, we already act in this at different levels, representing our institutions. So how do you imagine, how do you conceive this representation of the society? And in some cases, the same person will be representing, taking two hats.
Okay, we have to find a way, but for now there are people that are here, they are actually, they have part, but I'm not going to use the word members because it doesn't exist, but people that have already been with us, they are representing themselves or their institutions, but not the Society of Island Biology. And one of our ideas is to make them know that now island biology researchers, academic and managers, we have been organized in a society and we are the voice of the island researchers worldwide, okay? And they can count whoever they want, but if they would like to know the opinion of the society for anything, they should consult us. And then we decide, I mean, with the board and with you, who should go there depending on the theme, on the location, whatever. Okay? This is the idea, to make a lobby.
Yeah.
Other similar institutions lobby in that way. Okay? And they are always heard before taking any decision. Not just international institutions, absolutely, local and regional institutions. We are trying to contact, to maintain very good relations with all the small developing countries, for sure, because those guys need the opinion of researchers that just do that for free. We have no interest behind us, okay? And this is that makes the difference.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Dave. I think I'm the nearest to a hippie here, so thank you. Any votes my way. I've been super impressed by the quality of the research and the presentations, and absolutely blown away by the amount of research that's taking place on islands around the world. And I would like to see that work consolidated, possibly on the website, in a way that's really accessible, so we can know what's going on around the world. So both what research it is and connections with the people, that would be amazing, okay, as a proposal. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a really nice suggestion. One of the things we were thinking about that we could implement in the website. For example, the National Academy of Sciences has a member page where you can use keywords to search for topics and experts that are working on those topics. So that could, that we were thinking that could be one possible thing. Do you have additional ideas? And you don't have to say it now, but also later, if you think of ways that this can be implemented more effective or in a better way, please let us know. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Yiping Rao from University of Toulouse. I have a kind of a naive question, perhaps. Is the invitation going to be restricted to people who have already participated in one of the island biology conference?
No. I mean, we are sending the information to the people that have participated, but we are also going to make public as wide as we can that a new society is going to be funded, and that we wish all the people all over the world working in island research that would like to be members and to begin to join us in whatever activities we do. They are absolutely welcome.
Okay, thank you.
It's an open society. Okay.
Thank you.
The idea is that as soon as we have the web page, that will be, as it's said, we can have a database of the members with their people can put their information, keywords, what type of work they do, and then the web page could be the one possibility to increase the network of people that do not know yet the society or the Island Biology Society and the congresses, and in a short or long term, we may increase the visibility of our research and also increase the network. The website could be a good way for that, but we can, of course, as was said, we can promote or with our links send this information to as many people as we want, and it's not needed to be participant of these 3 congresses to be part of the society. Yes, this is critical to know that.
Over there.
Roger Kitching from Brisbane. I am only recently an island biologist. I've hugely enjoyed this conference and been impressed like others. I have, during the course of my overly long career, been involved in the beginnings of several societies. I think you're making, I wish you well, but I think it's a very, very brave move to be starting another specialist society in 2019. The tendency I have observed is for the specialist societies, the mammal societies, the behavioral ecology societies, to gradually wither away as people and institutions favored the big ecological societies. So, as I say, I think, and especially if you're going to start yet another journal to join the hundreds of, I have to say, mostly inconsequential journals that have been founded in recent times. But I will say one very controversial thing. I think a society that's starting in 2019 with such a gender imbalance on its board is inappropriate.
Okay. Okay, thanks for your opinion.
Well, it's true that nowadays young people probably is not so interested in societies and paying some fees to societies. It's a trend that we know, but I think there are three things that can make us a little bit optimistic. First, we started as something as a new idea from Don, Christophe, José Maria in almost 7-8 years ago, and we already have three big events with an unexpected number of young people in these very distant and isolated islands. Therefore, I think it's a good, positive thing that young generation that like islands, and I was also one young person that liked a lot to do work on islands, to see this as an opportunity to link there to something that could be interesting for their future lives. This is important. Second thing is also that we are not only ecologists or evolution people or managers. We are many kinds of people here that possibly can see this society as a way to connect different fields of research and to know and to have information for many different topics in a one place that is a virtual place, that is our society, in a website, in databases, in events like this. Third thing, of course, is difficult to launch a new journal, but it's also true that at least in Europe that now we have to publish everything open access. All the projects we now submit have to have a budget to pay publications, and eventually why not to reserve part of our budget not only to pay these journals to the big companies, but also to support a little bit our society, paying a paper in our journal is something that we can think on. Thank you.
Okay, Severin, we have, if you don't mind, we have still a couple of things to do, and I think it's time to give the word to Claudine. Thank you so much.
I would like to thank everyone for the quality of communications and the quality of the exchanges this week. I hope you enjoy your conference week in La Réunion. And this conference had support from our staff, the students, so I would like to call them, come down, and just get some applause from... We had also support for the organization and the logistics from the company Design System. And for the village conference, Audrey Valéry from Evanescence. So thank you very much to them. So, before we officially close this third edition of Island Biology, I would like to call Cédric Marteau et Sophie Marinesque to talk about the good news on the Antarctic and Austral Islands. Thank you very much to all.
Okay, this is now something that is not in the program, but it's very important. We have all experienced this week a wonderful symposium. And such a smooth symposium can only be possible with a lot of work of the people behind, okay? And we are really grateful to all the staff. Really, thanks a lot. You have worked really hard. Thanks a lot. And we are also very grateful to three colleagues that have do that just for free, and they have been working hard for more than 3 years just for preparing this symposium. And I would like to call them to come here because obviously we have something for them. Claudine. Dominique. Olivier.
Claudine, Dominique, and Olivier, we've got some gifts for you. Those gifts were locally made in La Réunion Island. I didn't bring anything from Tahiti because of biosecurity. So it's locally made, and we are very pleased. It's a great pleasure for all of us, I think, to have attended this wonderful conference. Merci beaucoup, thanks a lot. Marjoujou joie to all of you.
Hello everyone. Not easy to go just after that. Feel like it's closed already. Dear Island Biology attendees, it has been a great honor for the French Southern and Antarctic Lands collectivity to be partner of this wonderful scientific event, bringing together so many researchers, but also practitioners concerned by conservation issues on island biodiversity. We have been offered the opportunity, and we would like to thank the board for that, to present you a short movie about the French Southern Lands and Seas candidature for a UNESCO World Heritage List. And it happened that we had the news just a few days ago, but the site was actually now inscribed on the World Heritage List under natural criteria. It was inscribed last week in Baku, based upon recommendations of the International Union for the Conservation of Nature. It is now the largest UNESCO site on this list, and we are very proud to share this news with you today, but also to remind that these islands face the same conservation challenges that have been discussed all week long, and it was a great opportunity to attend to the presentation and have the chance to share the knowledge with all of you. So please watch the movie. I hope you will enjoy, And if you have questions after that, we'll be available for you. Thank you very much.